Greetings to the world. This is the Real Resilience Talk podcast. This is going to be episode 69 over. How you understand that? That's 69 episodes of Real Resilience Talk podcast for you and forever. Hey, as I always say, this show is no direct reflection of or endorsement from any official organization to include the DOD or anything else. So don't try to cancel me, fool. All right. And also, we just using our First Amendment. So this is a direct reflection of us as human beings, as card-carrying Americans, veterans, so on and so forth. The First Amendment, we defend it, we shall expend it. We ain't no doctors neither. We ain't no lawyers. We ain't nothing. We just people trying to fit full life. And hopefully to talk about this subject of resilience. I told y'all my personal belief on the subject, but we're going to now talk to our amazing guest today, a mentor of mine, somebody I look up to, I love, I admire, the one, the only, Miss Monica Daly, ma'am. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing, man. I'm amazing now. It's always good to be in the presence of good people. The only thing better than good people is more good people. And I'm grateful to know you, and I thank you for being here. For real, for real. Thank you.
You're welcome. No, it's wonderful. You know how much I love you and your family, and that I'm really happy to be on the podcast today.
Thank you. And I owe her some money, so this is just one way I'm trying to pay back.
It's still money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Money, capital comes and currency comes in many very different ways. But just to go ahead and get off to the upskunk boogie on this thing right here, Real Resilience Talk, episode 69. How about that shit? Huh? Said we couldn't do it. We doing it, y'all.
Good job.
And thought and shout out to all of y'all listening. And guess what? If you don't like this, you don't gotta make a comment. You could just scroll past and listen to some other stuff. How about that? You might hear some bad words on the show because we use our First Amendment, but I hope you also, and I know you will, also hear some good words. So please, let's turn our attention to our guest. Comes to us hailing from the God's country. The Lord said, yes, Lord, the Old Dominion, getting all up in you from Virginia. Miss Monica, what is resilience to you, my friend?
A resilience to me is really just doing it tired, right? Like, I think there's a lie that we tell ourselves that in order to get from point A to point B, you have to be happy about it.
Oh,
right. Like you have to do it like, oh, I'm doing it and I'm empowered to do it. And I'm doing it with, all of my energy and I'm giving you don't have to, you just have to get it done. And that was a lie that I bought into for a long time until I realized you could just do it tired, right? You can do it cranky. I talk to myself like a toddler all the time. Like, I don't care that you're upset, but you have to get up and get going. You can stomp your feet all the way to the car, but we've got to get going now. Resilience is still being here. You don't have to be happy while you still be here. You know what I mean? I love the concept that you should do good in the world, but you don't have to be happy about it. Yeah. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm so glad that I gave $20 to somebody in need. You can be like, I know they're in need and I've got the $20, but you don't have to be happy about it. You should still do the good thing. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It's hard because I think there's a lie that says you have to be exceptional while you're being resilient. And I think that is the same kind of lie you buy into when you're watching people on Instagram or TikTok and you're like, well, the content creators obviously have it all together. And the answer is you see them in 30-second or 1 minute increments and they look like they're doing well. You don't know their life.
No, you don't.
You don't know what's going on in the background. And to judge your own life against something that people have curated is a really bad idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I love that. Just not in a pretty way, not in a, oh, got so much energy kind of way, but like you're still moving forward and getting through it.
Well, and I think that's also a military way, right?
Yes.
You don't have to, you just have to get it done.
Yeah.
You just like, here's the order, go do it.
Right.
Nobody cares how you feel when you're doing it. Nobody cares.
That's true.
Nobody cares what your feelings are about.
Got no time for that.
Yeah. You just have to get it done. And I think that was really helpful. My time in the service, that was helpful for me to realize, nobody cares how you did it as long as you got it done. And sometimes they don't care if you did it within the bounds of what was allowed to do it in, as long as the final action was you move things from point A to point B.
Yeah, negatives make positive, and sometimes ugly makes a
Yeah.
result and makes pretty. And
Yeah.
that's just, we have to get things done. And I love that you said that, especially in the military sense, because I think we're all dealing with a battlefield of life every day. And that militant mindset of it, of no matter what the circumstances, this is the end state. This was the thing I need to accomplish. Of course, ethics apply, y'all. Of course, we don't want to do anything crazy, right? Nobody's encouraging or condoning that. But sometimes ugly ways of getting things done come out with a pretty result, and we just have to push through. So there's a time and place to take a knee and say, oh my God, I need to reflect on everything and everything like that. But you're someone who's obviously empathetic, sympathetic, compassionate to mental health and all the things. Just in my short time of knowing you, it's not the quantity of time, it's the quality of time. But this is an amazing human being who also happens to be a comedian, a teacher, an instructor, a veteran of our armed forces, and still is serving in many of ways and through many of different organizations. But even you were saying, no, sometimes we just got to get it done.
Right. Also, resilience can just be bed.
Bed.
You know what I mean? Resilience can just be like, I think sometimes we take the topic of self-care and it can be used in a very selfish way, right? Like I've made plans with you today to be here on this podcast. If 2 hours before this podcast, I was just like, you know what, for my own self-care, I'm just not coming. That's selfish, right? That can be a selfish act.
Yeah.
If I was just like, I just don't want to. The resilience is show up. I made a promise to show up. I need to show up if I can show up. But sometimes it's also not scheduling yourself out for everything.
Oh man, guilty.
Sometimes it's making sure that you have quiet in your own mind.
Yes.
And sometimes the resilience you need to do is to schedule yourself the time to be at rest.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And some of us, we have to actually schedule that. Especially if we're a little institutionalized. Just saying, you need to actually schedule that downtime so that way you make the time, because you're right. We can overextend ourselves, and then we unintentionally hurt others through our reactions to things that the messes we created. That's a very solid point.
And listen, Marines, sometimes I give you guys a jokingly hard time, but I would like to say this: of all the branches that I have worked with and know, Marines are the ones who you give yourself such a hard time when you are taking time out.
Oh yeah.
Like, it is not a failure to take time out. To you plug your phone in at night to recharge it. There's no, and you don't cast aspersions on your phone for needing to get charged.
I mean, honestly, I do sometimes, but yeah, no.
But I will say that, Marines, for the most part, push themselves so hard that's one of the things that I think people forget to tell grown-ups, that it is a requirement to rest. It is a requirement to recharge. It is not a failure to not be doing, because you can't keep doing and doing and doing and giving and giving and giving and doing and doing and doing without having that come at a loss.
You're so right. Yeah, you're so right. That's sound guidance, sound advice, and it sounds a little self-aggrandizing to be like, I needed to hear that because I just care so much and I just do so many things. But no, like, all of us need to hear that. Now, some of y'all need to step it up a notch. Okay, some of y'all doing too much self-care. Self-care I love how you said this. Self-care can turn into selfish if you go about it the wrong way. So judgment always applies, right? Like, common sense is not so common, nor is being reasonable in today's world. But you got to try. You got to try. But it's not like throw the baby out with the bathwater. All rest is bad, and then just go hard all the time. Like,
no, but we're no longer in a space where people even understand what moderation means.
What does that mean?
Stop.
Do you know what
I mean?
I am that guy.
Moderation is good in all things. Like, and so you can go all out. I'm not saying you can't go all out on something. Like, we go all out on comedy, right? But if you are doing something to the detriment of yourself, then you need to figure out where you need to make those changes to be moderate in things. And so, like, I love food. I love it too much. I have to figure out where the moderation is. Some people feel the same way about, it's the reason why there's like an addict brain mentality.
Most definitely.
But now we're doing it with time, right? Because the dopamine levels from social media can hit so fast because you always can be available. Somebody always can be available to talk to you. AI can always be available to talk to you.
Scary territory.
Not knowing where that moderation is for silence, I think, is something that we've been trying to work on as a group.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like we don't really have downtime,
right,
at all. And there's something that's good about downtime, because that's where like kind of things can marinate and cook. And sometimes you get those random thoughts. You know, people say, I just get random thoughts when I'm driving or taking a shit. But now, even in those settings, you're totally engaged with something. And it's not just background music like it once was. It's like you're engaged with, and it's a good thing, a full-blown audiobook or a full-blown, you're practicing. I know, driving around practicing comedy,
or podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're fully engaged. Like there's really, I'm very guilty of that. I do this show for others. I swear I do. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, selfishly, this show is for me too. And the best way to learn is from somebody else who's been there and can express it, and somebody you respect and admire. I could read a book on this stuff. Honestly, to be real with you, it wouldn't hit me. But when somebody I love and respect gives this kind of advice and wisdom, it hits my soul. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever hear something a whole 1,000 times, but somebody tells it to you a certain way that you admire and respect in a certain way, it just hits. Today, I'm getting them hits right now, like real good hits.
He says that.
I mean,
I don't know if he's told you he's written a book.
Shit ain't good.
It's on my bedside table.
Man. It is. So while you be bedding, there go my book. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you got a bed, right?
Sometimes you got a bed.
You got a bed.
Bed's important.
You got rest. You got to read a book. You got to watch. Maybe if you watch shows, I don't do that because the dopamine and or melatonin and all that shit is engaging. I got to make a concerted effort to go to bed. Like, it's a motherfucker. It's a process.
Oh no, you and me both. Because as an adult now, I don't know what I feel like I'm missing out on, but I have. It's not so much that I'm a night owl, but I have to. I'm like, we're going to go to bed at a decent hour, and then a decent hour comes and goes, and I'm like, why am I fighting going to bed? I love bed. Yeah. Like, why?
I love bed.
Why am I fighting? I love bed. I know where bed is. I love it. Why am I fighting?
Yeah.
What am I going to miss by staying up?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true. It very much is. And then, the part of the beauty of rest is that's when you recover. And, I did an episode the other day. I was talking to a friend of mine on the show, sitting right where you're sitting. And we were talking about stress and how stress gets a bad rap, because stress is good. It keeps you alive. It keeps you growing. It keeps you, but stress plus stress plus stress, feel good, burnt out and depleted. But stress plus recovery equals growth.
Yes.
That bed and other forms of that is where the recovery is and where the growth is. So
absolutely,
it's definitely sound. But speaking of time and how you've spent your time, and I get that, I feel like as I'm older, I do have this sense of urgency, like time's running out. But you have lived an amazing life of service and dedication and bringing light to others. No. I'm old too, if that's the case. But what's your background on the life you've lived thus far?
I grew up in Northern Virginia. For the most part, and I tried college. I liked college, but I wasn't a great student. And then I joined the military because I thought, well, if I'm screwing up in school, maybe I should join the military. My father was a career Air Force, and he had mavericked through as enlisted and then became an officer.
Oh snap! Mustang, sorry.
Yeah, Mustang. That's right. He had Mustang through. He was the last Mustang through without a college degree. And I thought, well, if he could go into the service, I could probably do the service.
Yeah.
Which was a weird thing for me to bank it on. And so I interviewed all the branches, and I wound up with the Army because they had the most jobs available for women, and they also had jobs where I could pick what I was doing when I went in. Right, everything else was needs of. Once you get in, we'll tell you what you're going to do. And I had grown up in the DC area, and I knew that was not what I wanted. Work out so good. So I went into the Army. I went in military intelligence. I did my first, 4.5, 5 years of service. I had some great rabbis in there. I had some great warrant officers who were really good to me, who said, don't stay in. There's nothing to retire for. They were cranky, right? But I realized I had gotten sort of what I wanted to get out of it. And I came back and went back to school and tried to find my way.
Yeah.
And eventually I found my way into working for law firms as a law librarian. And then I went into working for the federal government. And somewhere in there, I found ASAP, which was the Armed Services Arts Partnership. I don't know if you've mentioned it before on this program.
A little bit.
And I found them about 8 years ago. So it was, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And that flipped a switch for me.
Wow.
I had not expressed myself as a veteran because when I got out in the 90s, like, unless you served 20 years, you didn't talk about being a veteran.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
So there was a real sense of imposter syndrome for me when people would refer to me as a veteran. Or you served in the battleground of war.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was during Desert Storm, I wasn't overseas for Desert Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So that was also a condition of how I thought you could be considered a veteran.
Yeah.
And when I started with the Armed Services Arts Partnership, it was because a friend of mine came back from overseas with their head on a bit of a swivel. And their girlfriend at the time had found at a Starbucks a little sheet that said, "Do you want to learn how to do comedy?" And we all signed up to support him. And turns out the other two never signed up. Right. So I walked into ASAP going, all right, I don't deserve a space at this table.
Yeah.
I'm taking a seat from somebody else. And ASAP was the one who taught me that was an incorrect thought process. And it was great. Not only gave me a space to like use my voice and be able to express what was in my head. I've always been an extrovert and I've always told people what's in my brain, but it gave me a format to share it in the right way. But it also gave me such a sense of community that I had not experienced. And it allowed me to look at other VSOs in a way where I could say, oh no, I'm a member.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm ever so grateful to them about that. I would have not had the sense of community within the veteran space if it wasn't for ASAP. And then I also would still be trying to figure out how to express myself and what's in my brain if I hadn't had the classes for comedy and storytelling and improv to really be able to even use that at work, use that with strangers. And I love it so much. I will always be Tom Sawyer's least intelligent friend going, you want me to paint a fence? I love painting a fence. How much can I paint a fence for?
Oh, man. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you heard ASAP, and I know we have some Army folks up here. She said it's the Armed Services Arts Partnership, right? And you can find them, and I say this often, ASAP.org. And if you're in the Army, you know why I'm saying that, and Air Force connected, because the other acronym for ASAP is not just as soon as possible, but the Army Substance Abuse Program, right? And it may call it be something different because they're trying to lessen stigma. So a lot of it's substance assessment now because not everybody's there for abuse. But regardless if they change the acronym to ASAP, if you just Google ASAP, you're going to get as soon as possible, did you mean, or you're going to get Army Substance Abuse Program. So if you want to look it up, look. ASAP.org. That's how you can look them up. And here's the thing. Ms. Monica expressed that not only did she serve, but her father had served. If she never even served on active duty, she would have still been eligible to take part in ASAP because she is a descendant and connected to a member that served. Am I right on that?
Absolutely. It's active duty military veterans, military family members, and military caregivers. So if your father or grandfather or grandmother or mother have served, then you qualify.
That's right. If
you have a cousin who served, we don't go that far out.
Okay.
But yeah, and I love that it's also for caregivers.
That's right.
For, it's a really amazing program.
It so is, dude. I wouldn't know you without it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't be tapped into what has become like a second family for me. And it's so key timing for me because I think one of the biggest things we lose when we get out, I'll go ahead and do my little corny bit, because only us zoo animals and inmates get out, right? The verbiage, right? But when we leave service, the community is sometimes lost and our identity and things of that nature. And something like the arms, and this is so key for families too, because when we get out, service members or veterans, it's not just us getting out, our family is getting out as well. To know that they could still tap into such a thing where I've literally found my tribe. Like, I could depart active service and I feel so tapped in and connected to this human. And I can name off many of others, and I have on other episodes on here. But there's a community where I live at and where I reside at. And pretty much every region of the country, ASAP is there, and you can tap into so many other people. I learned this from the amazing Demi Chang, who's actually in the comedy workbook, right?
Mhm.
She was like, dude, you got to try ASAP. And I'd already done I was doing stand up for a while. I started around 2017 as well. Shout out Tim Lulis down at Virginia Beach Funny Bone and the Kazi's giving me time out there. And that's where I got my reps initially. But I was disconnected because I lived overseas. But she tapped me into that when I got back CONUS to continental United States. I tapped in, and then I met Angie Robinson, who amazing Angie. She said, come out to this mic. And then I met another one. And then I met Keith. And then I met Chevez, and then I met Dwayne, and then I met Joe, and then I met Duda, and then I met Miss Monica. And now there's a network of us to like July 4th, you know who I spent it with? At a cookout with this nice human being right here. Like, I had nobody in this area to really like fully kick it up with because of where I'm living at, right? Now I do, you know, and that sometimes community, we overlook that, and that tribe. You can read Sebastian Younger's book, but connection is the biggest protective factor against all harmful behaviors, but especially death by suicide, because you just feel alone and misunderstood. And you get around other kooky people that are just as weird as you are, and they're also veterans. Like, they're human beings that are about you, who also happen to be veterans. We're not just walking in there with our like, hey, my army right here, Marine Corps right here. Of course, we're not ashamed of what we were, but it's more about the human and connecting on other ideal platforms, and we're veterans.
Well, no, and I have always found that if somebody walks in like bejeweled in 511 gear and black
The
rifle
veteran starter kit,
right? Yeah, right?
Bejeweled.
That they have a sense of self that might be incorrect, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I mean? But it really is it really is such an odd way to connect. You don't, once you say you're a veteran to another veteran, there's a sense of connection, and then inside of that we can have our own, you know, dances about, well, what branch,
Yeah,
you know, who are you, what
and that's
branch?
just fun.
But that's just fun. But there's there's like a shared knowledge
Mhm.
of what to expect,
Yeah,
from that human,
yeah,
that I think is really helpful. And then for me, like you were saying, the blessing with ASAP was ASAP gave me a community of other veterans that I didn't know were going to appreciate who I was. And I remember saying to one of them, we were talking about things, and I said, listen, I really felt like I didn't deserve to be here. Because when I walked into class, a lot of my class members were much younger than I was, and they were wounded. Right. And I was like, okay, cool. Like they've been nice enough to give me a spot. I'm going to do my best. But, you know, this person has a service dog. This person lost limbs. Or this person is a Vietnam vet who went through it.
Yeah.
Who am I? Right. So there was a who am I for a long time. And then a buddy of mine went, you know, none of us want you to get shot.
Right.
Like, we're happy you didn't get shot.
It's facts.
Like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
But I will tell you, the moment I knew that I was okay in this space, in the ASAP space, was a Marine. Was a Marine that was a Marine that I was sitting with, who I love, and we were having a special guest star come and talk to us, and he was a triple amputee, 2 legs and an arm. He was a comic, and he had long legs. He didn't have short. He had long, tall legs. And he walked in, and my buddy went, yeah, do you see him? And I thought to myself, yeah, there's another reason why I don't deserve to be in this class. And I went, yeah, I do. And my buddy went, he wasn't that tall before he got shot. He's like, there's no Marine over 6 feet tall, Monica. That man adds an extra inch every time he gets new legs. And for whatever reason, that was the moment I was like, these are my people. People. I am fine here. Yeah. And really, only veterans can really have that. Yeah. We have a unique sense of dark humor. Yeah. Where we still care about the person.
Most definitely.
But you're like, all right, cool. All right. Yeah. No, all right. This is where I belong to be. It was the moment where I was like, I'm fine now.
Yes. No, you're with your people. And it's so important. And I'll tell you, in the times of my darkest moments, I isolate. and I go quiet, and I am an extrovert, and I run my mouth too much, to the point where that nice lady you met in the house earlier, there's days where she'll just be like, hey man, you used all your words for today, can you just and then, you know, the traditional is like, oh, you're the lady talks too much. No, I'm that one. I'm the spender, I'm the artist, and she's the one, similar to another guy we know who his wife fixes everything. I fuck up everything. Even she has
Shout
found,
out to the military spouses, man.
yes,
Yeah.
but even they find when we go to these shows and we do, now it's not ASAP directly, you know, it's an actual show that we're going to. She meets you,
Yeah.
another female veteran.
Yeah.
She meets the other military spouses that she's been like that. Man, it's helped us a lot in being here. And it's actually, even though I hate this area, like for the cost of living, for the traffic, for all the things, it's, besides my kid finishing school here, that he's totally committed to, it's probably the only reason why I want to stay here is because of y'all. That's how strong it's been on my life.
Well, you know, and I'll have people who don't live in this area who are like, how can you live there? How can you go back there? The traffic must be so bad. I'm like, you know what? All the museums are free.
That's right.
We are surrounded by a wildly diverse group of people.
Yes.
You can find all the food you want to find.
That's very true.
From any part of the
It takes a
planet.
little bit to get there sometimes,
Yeah,
but you know.
Well, in this where you are, yeah. But because of the traffic, there is so much to do, and
Yeah.
I like to point out when I started doing comedy that wasn't military driven, I call it comedy on the economy. Right, when you go out to do comedy on the economy, the community here,
Yes,
is so good.
it's true.
And comics, we're an odd group, right?
Yeah.
Like the first time I did an open mic where I was the only person I knew in the room, I had come out of ASAP, and the ASAP community is very friendly. We do a lot of workshopping with each other. There's a lot of shared knowledge. There's a lot of, hey, can you give me a note on
a lot
this
of weird
joke?
group chats.
A lot of weird group chats. That is a fact. So I had a sense that of just friendliness, right, with comics. So I was like, hey, hi, my name is so and so, and they're like, ooh, okay, great. And then I got up and I was funny, and they're like, oh, now that we know you're funny, what's your name again? So it can be a little daunting sometimes, but our unique community here, especially in Northern Virginia, especially in the Woodbridge area too, I think is we're super driven for people to succeed.
Yes.
We're supportive to each other, and we're supportive to the rooms, and we're supportive of the environment in a way that we realize it's not a pie, right? Like if I support what you do and I don't have a show tonight, it doesn't mean that you're getting over.
Yes.
Right?
I might show up and get a ticket.
Yeah.
And just be in attendance.
Right. And we have joy.
Yes.
For everybody doing what they're doing. And I will not say that comics are don't have our problems,
for sure,
right?
Yeah.
But at least in this group, there is a strong sense of community, and that when people go silent, we reach out.
Yes.
To say, hey, why aren't we seeing you at a mic?
That's
Where
true.
have you been? Are you okay? And that's amazing.
That's like everything. That's like everything on like the hierarchy and needs of what you like need. Right. Obviously, you got food, shelter, and all that kind of thing. But like that human connection and that opportunity to self-actualize by expressing yourself, and you can do it through many forms. I mean, comedy is just one form, but I look at Bruce Lee as one of my favorite people in human history, and he said that to live is to express, and to express you have to create. So anything you're putting out, even your post that you just made today, is art. It's art. Like whatever you do for your job is art. You know, people stigmatize us as military like idiots, like whatever. And I remember Jocko said, "Do you know how creative you have to be to outthink the enemy?" You know, and like all of the mishaps that happen along the way, and like it's so true. So don't. What I'm saying there is, don't sell yourself short and go, I ain't artsy fartsy. I really thought because I was this big bad Marine drill instructor guy, I was like, I can't be no artist. And then I realized this is all art. Like I play in one role, but like I'm an actor when you're doing jobs like that. So all I'm saying is that outlet, and I heard Mark Cuban say this recently too. He said, you know why people are so sad? Is because humans are here to create.
Yes.
And all we do is consume.
Yes.
So I just throw that out there to you to listen to the joy, right? Not the happiness all the fucking time, but the joy that, two humans here have found that are reasonable people in connecting with the arts that connected us to other people, right?
Well, and so I also, and I talk about this in my comedy, but I also, I knit, I do watercolors, I do a bunch of other sort of handicraft
Right.
crafts, and I do them because you don't. I think we have spent a lot of time saying that if you go to learn a new skill, you have to learn it perfectly,
Oh,
right? And one of the things when I'm knitting, people are always like, "Well, that must be so complicated." I'm like, "Yeah, but you can just rip it out. It's not stone. Like
Mhm.
if you screw it up, you can just start over. It's you haven't you're not destroying the planet just
Mhm.
because you did something wrong." But so it's a great way to like use your brain and use your hands and make something and give yourself some grace on whether or not you're a robot and it's perfect,
Yeah.
or whether or not there's one thing. Every knitter who's done something is like, oh, and then there's this one thing over here that proves that I'm a human being.
Nobody noticed it, but
Nobody
you did.
knows it but
Yeah.
you. Um, and at the end of the day, you have a physical thing you've created,
Yes.
right? Which is so hard in a digital age of email and spreadsheets, is to be able to physically look at something like I put in the work, and at the end of the day of the work, I have this to look at. And I also think that's necessary in creation. It's the same way with comedy,
Mhm.
like crafting a joke and crafting a joke and crafting a joke until you have a really beautiful joke that you know is always going to get a laugh, is the same way. You can see that rippling back to you
Yeah.
with an audience.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But like you said, putting out a poster, putting out a blog, you've created something and it's out in the world and you've given it to the world.
Yeah.
And it's art, and you have to allow art to not be perfect.
Yeah. And that's sometimes what makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
Is the imperfections, right? Like
Yeah.
it I was watching Conk on Earth. she was just shitting on Van Gogh stuff. Like, look at this fucking paint stroke right here. But like, it's not Michelangelo-esque, but it's some pretty good art. But look how we hold that in that vein, and it's
Right.
imperfect, but it was a perfect expression of what he felt at that time. You know what I mean?
And nobody thought it was perfect until he died. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah. How often does that happen? And look at Galileo. We can keep going on a line of people
Yeah.
who like now we're like, genius. Van
Yeah.
Gogh is awesome. Van Gogh died thinking he was a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how much art it takes to be a lance corporal?
Oh my God.
I mean, so creative.
Lance for life. What's up?
Like,
Lance for life.
like we call them the E4 Mafia. Like, I think
Oh.
that's the most creative section of the military, because you have to figure out how to get around things
Mhm.
and get over.
And they know everything.
And they know everything.
They know more than sometimes the higher level people, because
Yeah.
somehow the Lance Corporal Underground is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there's some sea lawyers in there, and some, I ain't gonna go to talk to legal counsel. I'm gonna just talk to Corporal Smith at the barrack, because he know his cousin got NJP before. He might be right though. You never know.
You can find the joy and the brilliance in the same places that you can find the darkness and the pain. It's sometimes just the way you choose to look at them.
Can you please say that again? And everybody, just if you're tuning in, just listen, because sometimes things go over our head. You were just picking your nose. You were just making a left turn. You were just scratching your butt. Listen to what this amazing human just said. Please, could you say that again?
You can find the joy and the beauty in the same places you find the darkness and the pain. It's just how you choose to look at it sometimes.
Yes. Y'all heard that? Reframing perspective, how you look at it. What a man thinketh, so it shall be. Oh, so on and on and on is so wrapped in what she just said. Perspective. And if you think it's going to be a shitty day, if you're going to walk around with poopy pants mentality, it's probably going to be a shitty day.
And I got to tell you, if you have poopy pants, you can start saying things like, well, at least everyone's going to stay away from me.
That's fact. Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying these things like I work them every day.
Hell no.
But I'm saying them in a way like when I talk to myself like a toddler. Like, these are the things I say to myself when I have to convince myself to do the things that have to get done. Because in my house, I'm the only person there.
Mm.
So if I don't do it, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
But I want it to happen, and so therefore we have to go do it. And so it's a pretty circular thought process. But you have to find a way. You have to find a way to do it cranky. You have to find a way to do it sad, and sometimes you can find a way to make it beautiful. But these are choices that you make.
Yes. And sometimes, we're off. and sometimes we haven't addressed certain things with, mental health wise. Like I've shared on here many times, I didn't start being on real medication until I was in my 30s. And I was even not going to continue to take it until like the refill was about to run out. And my wife was like, I was like, fuck this. I'm not taking shit. She's like, no, you should go get a refill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've been on it since. And no, it did not fix everything. It's like a wellness omelet. There's all these other things too. But my darkness doesn't go as dark as it once did. And through art and through the things that we're talking about, even just being on this podcast and expressing things, like what I always say to people, and I always try to plug ASAP whenever I speak to people, I say, don't suppress it, express it.
Yes.
Because if you don't deal with your shit deal with you.
Yes.
And that, honestly, it deals with others in probably a way you didn't want to, but that's the effect because you're all digging inside. And expression comes in many forms. Education comes in many forms. Therapy comes in many forms. So don't be so close-minded because closed mouths don't get fed and closed minds don't get fed either. So just be open-minded to maybe find something that could help you give you that different perspective. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. And it's also great when you find your community, and even if you find your community online, even if you can find your community through an influencer, like you're like, I didn't realize anybody else was also thinking like this or going through this sort of thing, and then you find a community in that space. Once you find out that you're not alone, it's so amazing. Even if the thing is that you're not alone, is like, I really love monarch butterflies, and I didn't realize anybody else liked monarch butterflies as much as me. To find a space where your joys, or even where your sadness, is mirrored back, and you can have people who understand what you're going through or what excites you, and is a wonderful place to be. To not be alone is a wonderful place to be.
And like MJ said before he went, off the rails a little bit, you are not alone. And I do think that we are all as unique as our fingerprint.
Yeah.
Totally believe that. I do. I think we are just unique as individuals, but there's like 90% accuracies in being similar to others. And like Dr. Maya Angelou said, rest in peace to her, we are more alike than unalike. But we allow these things, or if you're the one hurting out there, I've done it, so I'm guilty of this. You say, well, you don't understand. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know. And you can use that as like a shield or maybe like a badge, but like it's not making anything better. And you'd be surprised that even if you are so unique, if you do share it, to what Monica just shared about like that influencer that you find community in, or within that influencer sphere of influence, you realize you're not alone. If you did something similar, I'm not saying you have to do exactly that, okay? But if you did something similar to share, maybe you give that piece to someone else to realize they're not alone, and then you connect with them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like this domino effect, but sitting closed in going, you don't know the fuck I feel. You ain't been through what I've been through. Like, it's not gonna help. It's gonna only hurt. That's my experience in human experience.
Well, and I think for us, especially in the comedy communities, when you're doing open mics and you're getting into the comic community, you find out what you have in common. But we come from such a largely diverse group of people. Our population might just be comic, but underneath there, everything is present, right? And so, I'm not trapped with women in my age group who are white as my sense of community, because in comedy, it's everybody else. And there are people who I love and appreciate, who I think are thoughtful and wonderful human beings, who I get so much enjoyment and information from, who are 30 years younger than I am. Where we come from very different walks. They haven't even started on some of their journeys yet. But we share a lot of the same challenges because we're doing things in comedy. And we are also sort of emotionally naked with each other because we're trying to figure out things. Because I will tell you, comedy does not come from a sense of, oh my God, everything's fine.
Oh, facts.
I'm having such a good day. I'm going to share my good day with everybody.
Nobody would laugh at that.
Nobody would laugh at that. Nobody would laugh at that. At the same point, I think the Moth has a really good message, and I say this when I teach, and I always attribute it to the Moth, which is, you can't tell stories or jokes from your wound, you have to tell them from your scar, right? Because if you're telling it, I've tried to tell jokes from my wound
When it's still fresh.
when it's still fresh.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and another thing. And that's not funny either. You have to figure out how to get, once it's scarred, you've got some distance from it to be able to then share a universal pain, whether or not it's childhood or death or marriage or any relationships. You have to be able to share that in a communal way and not in your unique screaming void way.
Damn, I do that a lot.
Yeah, but we love your screaming void, man.
No, I have so much. And Bobby Oliver, great mentor of mine, she has, and I put in the book, is she says, tell it over and over again until it no longer owns you.
Yes.
But she also speaks to, there is a too soon.
Yes.
And you can, I forgot who it was it Patton Oswalt? No, I can't remember. Whomever's spouse had passed, and
Patton Oswalt.
It was, and when he had come out with that, and I learned this from Melissa Duke and from Kristen Stewart, not Kristen Stewart, but Kristen. I'm sorry. I don't have Kristen Stewart on, but I was talking with Kristen, and amazing. I love her, and shout out Canada. What's up? She's a new American citizen. But also, what Melissa was saying that, like, when he did that, and he spoke too soon, like the crowd wasn't ready. Like, he may have been in a place to say it and share it, but like the crowd reacted adversely to it because, like, it wasn't, like, it was still a wound, and it was his spouse.
It was his spouse.
But it was, there's a certain, tell it over and over again until no longer owns you. Yes, good in that, but there is a healing process, and there's no real timetable on that. So you have to have the judgment with that.
No, you can't get to tell people when they're done. You can't get to tell people when they should be ready for love, or when they're done grieving, or how they should be grieving, or any of those processes. Because grief will slap you,
oh my God,
like a wave over and over again. You'll just be like, oh no, everything's calmed down, and then it'll like bump up against you another time, or it'll come over you another time. You can't talk to people. Nobody loves the same way. Nobody grieves the same way. These are big personal torrents of emotion, and you don't get the right to tell somebody that they're doing it wrong. But yeah, I think my father always told me, Monica, you should know that men just get remarried. He's like, you'll see it with a bunch of men. I know how to do laundry, and I know how to cook, and I know how to do all these things. But you'll see a bunch of men, they'll be widowers and they'll miss their spouse, but they also don't know how to figure out where their socks are. And he's like, so don't be surprised when you watch a bunch of grown men get remarried like 2 months later. And then I've watched that and been like, oh yeah, divorced men don't get remarried real fast, but widowers are like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. No, there's definitely, that definitely is true.
Widows just miss their husbands, and they're like, we're good. I found a group of women. We're going to have a book.
Yeah.
thing.
I got a book club. We playing bridge on Saturday.
Good.
Yeah. I got into comedy, like whatever it is. We play bingo on Fridays. I almost won the pot. Yeah. But yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I think that also goes into, not to get too deep on it, but like how men are always trying to fix stuff. And like the best thing we can do is just shut up and listen. But I'm still like, hey, what you mean? What you need done? But like we want an action to follow in a linear thing, where women are different in that aspect. Like, you want some fix to this.
I don't know who said it. It may have been my dad, but my father used to tell me that men are 2x4 creatures. Like, if you really want to get something through to them, just hit them upside the head with a 2x4. Subtle does not work on men. He's like, if you have something you want to say, just say it.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, oh, and I told him all these things, and inside of there, I alluded to all this stuff. It's like, just tell them, if you want red roses, you like red roses. Like, don't.
We got the hump face now, huh?
Don't skip around it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
PT talked about that the other night when he's talking about the fact that he was like, his mom hit him up, was like, are you and your spouse arguing? He's like, I don't know, she ain't said nothing. I think we're good. That he was like, everything's
like
good.
Life must be so nice inside that brain. Like, I gotta tell you.
Guilty, so guilty. I know women like that too, so it's not always, but a predominant amount of men are exactly what you just described, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, no, I got to tell you, it was some great advice I got. It was perfect.
Mhm.
Don't be subtle. He's like, be subtle with your female friends.
Yeah.
Women can pick up stuff, and like a year later, they're like, "What? I bought you this first edition because I remember that you mentioned that you really loved this author one particular time when we were having lunch that Tuesday over the thing, and so I went out and I found this great version of that book for you, and I wrapped it up. I've saved it for your birthday." Yeah, that's why widowers are like, yeah, I got a bunch of women friends. I'm good. I'm
yeah,
good.
I got
yeah,
this. I'm good. They just figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny, but it does remind me of, especially, and I'm thankful that you talked about like pain and grief, and you know, the comparison game. You know, comparison is a thief of joy, but it's also it's also the thief of healing.
Yeah.
Because we sit here, no matter what. There's a great dude out there, y'all. You can follow him, Garrett Biss. He's on LinkedIn. He's on YouTube. He runs an organization. He helps people a lot, and he's retired Mustang, repurposing his service, but Marine. But he has a TEDx talk that talks about the trauma that all veterans face. And he does not say anything about combat service, but it's the trauma that we all face because we all lose our connection, our authenticity, and our meaning to a lot of things. And it comes in many forms and shades and heights and lows, but it's something that I think every veteran and our families have to be mindful of when we leave something. So when you said the getting through it and then finding new ways to really be what resilience is to keep moving forward and find the right way. Be water, my friend. But it reminds me of what General Neller said, and you talked about grief, and there's the grief of leaving active service and then that not healing because you're comparing. But he says that, it's General Neller, he said, we never get over it. He brilliantly put it in quotations. Instead, we must learn to live with it, to cope with it, to not be disabled by it, and to help each other through it. Pain shared is pain divided. And I just think it just reflects so much of everything you just said in that community. Even the widower finding, or the widow, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the widow finding that community of those, ladies to hang out with and kick it. Like, you don't get over it. None of us ever will.
No.
And that processing is different for everybody. So you can't tell somebody else, hey man, you ain't over that yet? Or what's going on? Like, this is what I did. And it's good to suggest things, but at the same time, you don't know how another person actually feels. So it's key because you never get over it.
You have to love them where they are sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
I got to write that one down. Love them where they are.
You have to love them where they are. And you don't have to like, sometimes when you love people where they are, that doesn't mean you have to like where they are. Right? But you have to love them where you are. You can't love them where you hope they should be. Kind of deal. But I remember when I got out of the military, part of the out processing wasn't anything like it is now. Like when I hear about the out processing now, like a year of transition and understanding and classes and sort of motivation, I think that's amazing. I had like 3 days we signed a form and I was no longer in the Army. And it was a very weird transition. But they put us in a large room filled with everybody who was retiring and getting out.
Regardless of length of time.
Regardless of length of time. And they said the life expectancy of a command sergeant major in the Army upon retirement was 3 years, because the next day nobody cared who they were. They walked in a room, nobody jumped up, nobody had to get their phone calls, nobody had to make time for them. And that change in attention was so daunting. Like, you see them wandering around the PX and the BX, you know what I mean, when they retire.
They got the hat, right?
They don't know what to do, you know what I mean, with themselves. And the idea that it would be so hard on their heart that they wouldn't make it 3 years as a life expectancy if they did not figure out how to pivot. And find their importance not just outside of themselves, but internally.
Yes.
Was really stuck with me, because I was like, what do you mean 3 years? They're like, oh yeah, no, they're so used to having everybody say, yes, you're right. How can I help you? What am I getting for you? And when that goes away and they are just home, they don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah. I feel like marriages fade too.
Yeah.
And relationships of all kinds, because it's kind of like with alcohol, I'll speak of my own experience, that when my spouse never knew me sober. Right. So I was like a whole new guy. Right. And it's the same with such a demanding thing on your life and your identity of being in an armed forces or first responder or professional athlete or a teacher or anything of significance to where your lifestyle really has to be wrapped up into that occupation. It defines you, right? You introduce yourself. They say, "Hey, who are you?" "Hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm a teacher." Like, people do that, and it's not a bad thing. But when that's gone, it's not only gone for you; it's gone for those around you. So now you're home all day. They're not used to being home all day. Or not having something to, like, not complain about, but like, it gets annoying when I hear a lot of senior leaders be like, my phone goes off at 2 a.m. Who got a DUI? Why do I have anything to do with the E4 getting a DUI? You don't realize how meaningful that is to you subconsciously. And when it's gone, your phone don't ring for shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I was 12. We had dinner every night together as a family. That was a rule in the house, right? Unless there was some after school thing that we had to do. But then we would all, if you had a game, we all went to the game.
Yeah.
Right. My parents were very family focused and family driven, and I appreciate what they gave my brother and I in that experience. But we were having dinner, and my dad and my mom were talking about their day, and I said, because I was 12, "Excuse me, don't you want to hear about my day? Isn't not my day the most important thing for you to hear about?" Kind of thing. And my father went, "You're going to have to wait your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. Here's something I need you to know, that you and your brother will be leaving this house in the next 6 to 8 years. And your mother and I will still be here, married to each other. And if the only thing that we talk about is the two of you, when the two of you are gone, we won't know who we are as a couple."
Wow.
And I was 12, and got my nose bent out of shape about that, but it stayed with me for until now. But that was such the smart move and such the right answer for them, that I've watched friends who their whole focus are their children. And when their children are gone, they don't know how to pivot. They don't know who they are as a couple. And my parents made sure to make that a priority. They were great parents, but they were also really good at being a couple with each other. And that was so smart that they made time to focus on that they knew that was something that could come.
Yeah.
And I've watched relationships where they dwindle after 30 or 40 years, and you realize it's because they did not continue to check in.
Yeah.
And because you can just wander off inside the same house.
Oh, it's so true. You become like business partners and, like, mortgage holders together, and
Right.
and co-parenting, to an extent. It's like that with not just kids, but the jobs we have, and when that's not there, and it's like, who are we? And you can grow apart, but you can grow apart from yourself as well.
1,000%.
And then you don't stay tapped in. It has to, I think, in our day today, a challenge that our times, it's not just a certain generation, it's our times right now faces, is that we have to make concerted efforts to things that were just by default before, as in that you time, that downtime, that y'all time, because if not, there's just our attention is such capital for so many things nowadays, that whether it is your kids or it's the bings and pings on your phone, or it's following every detail of your sports team, or every detail of whatever political thing or whatever, everything is vying and fighting for your attention, and you don't have those default times where you're just like sitting on the porch and just like, all right, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. We don't, and that's not saying that smoking is bad, but I know a doctor out in Japan, Commander Fernandez, Captain Fernandez, I love you, man, but he used to always say that, like, smokers got it right. And we're like, what are you talking about, doctor? Like, he's a psychiatrist. And he was like, once an hour or more, they go outside and they take deep breaths. Probably not the right thing to be inhaling, but they usually connect with somebody else who's just an outsider as them. And now they're getting shunned, but they have that connection. And there are I've smoked for so many years. You have that certain smoke pit people that you just talked to in a smoke pit. And he's saying that time, but that was default by just the habits of the world. Now, not so much.
I was a smoker for years. And certainly during the entire time that I was in the service, I was a smoker. And you also get stuff done in the smoking pit. You meet, nobody has rank on in the smoking pit.
Smoke pit mafia.
Yeah, and then you could just find out. You'd be like, oh, you know what? I can find sir, I can find the answer. I'm just going to walk down and talk to Bob. And they're like, Bob's an SES for something else. Yeah, but Bob smokes. And I know that he's got whatever we need.
So true.
We can just get it done.
Yeah.
But it was every hour I would go outside and I would know what the weather was like and I would see the sky and I would take some time out for myself.
You would deeply inhale.
I would deeply inhale.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Because you want to hit and exhale.
And you would share. I used to laugh. Like you could not walk up to somebody else who had a 6-pack of Coke and be like, I also drink Coke. Can I have one of your Cokes? And have them be like, here's a Coke.
I like the old flavor.
Yeah.
Right. It's true. It's true.
But you could ask somebody who was smoking for a cigarette.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And vapes have ruined that. And I am glad I quit smoking. It took a lot to do it, and it will be coming up on 20 years soon for quitting.
Congrats.
But I still miss it.
Yeah.
Like my brain is still like, oh no.
Yeah.
A friend of mine went, well, what would happen if you had one cigarette? I'm like, I'd buy a carton on the way home.
Oh,
I don't think you understand how
Yeah.
addiction works.
Those people that only like smoke when they drink, I'm like, I smoke more if I drink, but I might start being a full-blown smoker again if I drink. You know what I mean? But there's something to it. There is that connection. But I don't think it has to be, what the captain was saying was that it doesn't have to just be smoking.
Right.
You can do this in other ways. What we do at the mics, hang out in the green room waiting to be called up, or just getting there early just to say what's up, or staying and hanging around afterwards. That is a smoke pit right there. And there are many smoke pit philosophers. And I'm a recovering smoke pit philosopher, but I still miss the smoke pit.
Yes.
But
yes.
I think now that was a default thing based on our times, our habits, our culture, to where now you have to make a concerted effort to develop or find a smoke pit and find that tribe that you found in the smoke pit, whatever that said thing may be. But you are not so unique. And I think every life on this world is important, but you ain't so fucking special. People need to step back like this. So goddamn special and so special and unique. Like, we're all unique, but at the same time, that doesn't give you a ante up on anyone else. Like, and please understand this, that if it's a big deal to you, then it's a big deal. And that's all that matters. So it is worth addressing and not playing the comparison game. And when you conversate with other people and share, you will realize, oh shit, different circumstances, but same principle. We going through this. How'd you get through this? Shit, is this what humans have been doing since the beginning of time? It seemed to have worked, I know I just went on a rant. Sorry.
No. I think you can't look at somebody else's life and be like, I know what it is they have. You know what it is you can see that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And and even in, so you say, let's say even in comedy, there are people who are going to be unhappy for your success. Right. And they're going to say, well, I don't understand how you got to your success, but they don't actively see the 7 years of slogging for the work, so that they just see the end product of what they would also like to have.
Mm-hmm. And
you're like, okay, but this person worked really hard. Like
yes.
you could watch their hustle, you could see their game. So like Josh Johnson,
mm-hmm.
right? He's a major comic. You'll know him. He has the little gray hoodie that he wears. Very, very funny guy. And I don't know about you, but I have a lot of non-comics who come up to me all the time who want to talk to me about comedy. And they're like, have you seen this young man? He's just come out of nowhere. I'm like, he didn't come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
He might have just hit your algorithm.
Yep.
Right. But he was writing on The Daily Show. He has been touring with Trevor Noah. He has been working out his act and his look and his patter and his method and just the way he stands on stage and the way he connects with an audience. He has been working. He is not just magically arrived. And I think it's disingenuous when people think that, oh, he just popped out of nowhere. I could pop out of nowhere.
No.
Not without the work.
Gotta do the work.
Do you want to be famous or do you want to be infamous?
Ooh.
Right? You don't want to be infamous. You don't want to be known for the wrong things get or getting somewhere in the wrong way. Like if you and if you're chasing fame, you shouldn't chase fame. You should chase the work.
Yes.
Right? Because there are a lot of comics who are amazing that aren't known across everything.
Yes, but household names, obviously the comics, but then they have their niche of people that are just like,
But then there are comics, like people that the other comics know, and they're like, this person's amazing, but they're not a name, right?
Right.
But Josh Johnson, I loved it when people were like, he just came up. I had one guy come up to me today. He goes, I don't know if you know this comic, Monica. I don't know if you know this comic, Monica. He is also in the military. Very funny guy. I just heard his comedy for the first time. Have you ever heard about Gary Owens? Have you ever heard about Gary Owens?
I've been knowing Gary Owens since like 1998, 99 when he was on Comic View.
But I'm like, people think that things come out of the ether now because it just hits their algorithm. They're like, wow, this person just arrived. And you're like, no, this person, there's work. There's work you have to do. And it's not always fun. It's not always fun to go up for an open mic. It's not always fun to go out in the middle of the night to go try something. It's not fun to try something new and nobody laughs.
That hurts.
That hurts.
But I love how some people be like, I thought it was funny. That just makes the room pop. But it's still, you're making people laugh. That's your job. But like, there's many times I'm like, I saw somebody the other night and nobody was like, really? That fucking was good.
Yeah, you're like, in your brain. But yeah, there's a lot of work. And I think in the immediateness of social media, people fail to recognize that some of these people have been putting in the work.
Oh, yes.
And so if you're like, oh, I'm looking at them as my comparison and they seem to have come out of nowhere, the answer is that's never true.
Never. No.
And you should do what you want to do because it gives you joy.
Yes.
Right.
It does. Whatever that thing may be. And like you said, there's multiple things. I remember reading, somebody posted a question. Somebody I admire a lot too is Dwayne. And he is like, I think he was just throwing it out there for anybody to answer. And he was talking about like, you know, when you hit a block or whatever. And everybody had different answers. And I gave some fucking lofty answer. And he was like, you should write a book.
I have. Here is my book.
Oh, yeah. I know. You know, he'll give you slight digs. It's good. But when people make fun of you in our circle, it means they love you. So sure. I was like, yeah, Dwayne made fun of me. But it was real. But you had come out and you just said, I start knitting. And you talked about some of the other artistic things that you do, but you do it for the, like, you're not trying to like sell quilts on eBay. Maybe you are, but you know, it's a stress reliever that's healthy. And I think that's what a lot of us lack is healthy outlets.
Right. Well, and they had a couple of years ago, there was a study that came out that said knitting was the same as yoga in the fact that it's a repetitive process.
Yes.
So it becomes very meditative. And your hands are doing something while your brain is thinking about doing something while your eyes are watching you do these things. It's combining a lot of different senses all at the same time, as well as you can see how successful you've been by your finished product.
Ooh, that sense of accomplishment.
Right. So the sense of accomplishment is there.
Yeah.
But if I get stuck on writing a joke, if you keep trying to make the joke funnier, eventually the joke is like, nah, thanks.
Now we good.
Thanks. I don't know. Were you thinking of words, Monica? Were there words you wanted to use? You don't know any words anymore, so that's fine. It won't be funny. Is this therapy? Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God!
And then you have to step away from it. You have
so
to
guilty.
You have to step away from things and give your brain a way to relax, and then it'll come back and it'll be like cucumbers. You wanted to say cucumbers. Cucumbers was
cucumbers.
Cucumbers. But when I have a block, if I keep trying to chisel at that block, and for some people that works. For some people it works to keep chiseling hard and hard and hard at it. If I keep chiseling hard and hard at it, it just gets harder. And so for me to step away, I have to do something that's completely different with my brain.
Yeah.
And like I have these watercolors I got from a influencer on TikTok who makes her own paint, right? And I would put it on the kitchen table, and then I would just walk by and do one little section or do like one little leaf.
Yeah.
And then because if I go to do something like that, I want to do it all at once, and then it's just going to be a muddy mess, right? I don't give it time to dry. I don't give it time to like figure out what the next thing is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to color it all in at once.
Yeah.
And that's not effective in that medium for me. But it will give me an opportunity to like distract my brain enough to be like, no, you're going to focus on this for a second, and so that I could refocus and be refreshed. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do. It's the reason why, like, you can't just like the NFL or NBA doesn't run all year round.
Right.
Like they need that time to just be away, to reset. Obviously, they still condition, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's also why we see like the Tommy John's injury with pitchers
Yes.
is so common, more common
Yes.
ever than before, because now kids growing up in sports, and this is shout out Carrie, you gave me this insight. Her son's a professional baseball player, but I was talking to her about Achilles because my Achilles just got worked on, and we see so many Achilles tendons tears in sports right now, like more than ever. I don't ever remember, and I know we have greater awareness and greater technology now, but we've had an MRI machine for a while now. But it seems in basketball and football and many sports, there's so many tears. And what she had said, it's the wear and tear, because like kids are growing up now where you play fall ball, you play spring ball, you play summer ball, you play the real ball, you like it's never stops. It's not like you stop and you go play volleyball for a little while,
Right.
or you just chill. Like you're like you're in AAU, you're in the intramural league, you're in this league. So there's no, it's the same with this craft of this art, which sports is an art as well, of writing or anything. Like that time to leave basketball for a few months and just go focus on track is sobering.
Yeah, well, because we don't allow anybody to have a hobby anymore.
Yeah,
It's got to be their all thing,
and it better be a side hustle too.
And you can't just play. You can't just play county ball. You've got to play travel ball.
It's true.
You know what I mean? It's like when we look at gymnastics. If you don't start doing gymnastics when you're 4, you're never going to make it to the Olympics when you're 12, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that an 11-year-old shouldn't figure out how to get on a balance beam.
So
You
true.
know, there's a big push that everything has to be at the top of its game, at the best that it can be. And I think sometimes also for some parents, it's a reflection of who they are, who their kids are is who they are. And so their kids must be at these elite levels because that's what they would like for themselves. And it just puts bodies in such a repetitive process that you wind up. But like I know knitters who have had hand injuries because there's a repetition.
Yeah.
And they have to go get things worked on. Or even now, the cell phone. So many people are injuring their thumbs because we all scroll. That it's a problem. But yeah, these Tommy John surgeries and all of these surgeries for kids, you see so many knee surgeries because also we don't teach children how to not overextend their body because they can do anything they want with it because it's pretty rubbery. It's pretty awesome.
It's true.
But yeah, it's a problem when there's a hyper focus on using your body or using your craft that you can't step away from it and recover.
Yeah.
Because you think you're not allowed to step away from it and recover.
That's true.
And I think that's the problem with resilience. We want people to I think excellence is something you should strive for. But we don't give people the ability to know that the opposite side of excellence is being able to balance how you get from point A to point B.
My wife calls it the B word for me.
The B word for you?
Yeah. Like I call it the B word because it's balance and I don't know what the fuck it is. And it's something that constantly comes and haunts me and gets back at me because
and I hate to bring this back to Marines, but all the Marines I know, they want to know how to do balance the best way.
It's wow.
Right. How can I succeed at balance? I want to succeed at balance.
Oh man, it's so true.
Can I get a gold star for balance? And your answer is like,
I'm the most balanced motherfucker you've ever met.
This is my medal for balance. Like,
yeah.
And the answer is no, honey, I need you to take a deep breath. It's different for everybody.
Yeah. And having that time to break away from said activity to maybe do another one. There's so much growth in that mid-cingulate cortex thing in your brain. Like it grows when we do things that are uncomfortable. Even though you like run a lot and running's hard, you eventually start enjoying it because you get good at it. So it doesn't hit the same, but throw your ass in a pool. If you don't like it, you'll grow more in the pool. But that's actually like, if you're doing regular stuff, you can't just run every day. You can't just swim every day. You can't just knit every day.
Right.
But you got to break it into something else. And I do think there's power in that diversification of healthy outlets, but I just said balance. And I say healthy outlets, but it's also just hobbies, man.
Right.
And we don't make time for that stuff no more. And I am very guilty of it. I've turned hobbies into like calls for action.
Yes.
You know, and that has not been healthy for me all the time. You know, and that's That's unfortunate. But a lot of us in our culture today have grind, hustle, get the rest, and then you can burn out or you can be less effective. And one thing I've learned from burnout, and shout out to Miss Sharon, she told me this, Dr. Sharon. She said that, you ever notice when people are burnt out, they lose empathy
Yes.
for others.
Yes.
Like you just lose the empathy. So you want to be balanced at resilience, but you want to be the best at resilience. Like it's just this
No.
self-licking ice cream cone of you gonna burn out
Yes.
and you finna be sad.
Yes. And nobody likes you, right? Because when you're burnout, you don't like yourself.
Amen.
And when I was little, I would say to my dad, "Love you," and he would say, "I love me too." And I'd be like, "Okay, but that's not the response." And he said, "Yeah, but if I don't love myself, I can't love you." And
Dude,
so
your
it's
dad
really
is packed with
important. It's
knowledge.
really important for you to know that that I love who I am, and that it's important for you to love who you are, because if you can't do that, you cannot give that to anybody else.
Wow.
And I agree with you that it's a lovely thought, but when you're 5, it was a lot to learn. But he's 100% accurate.
Yeah, that's
Like, and even you, and I would say that you don't even have to like yourself when you love yourself. It's like your kids, right? Like you can love your kids,
facts.
and some days you're like, I love them.
Yes. And all family for that matter.
Yeah,
I don't like some of these motherfuckers. I love these motherfuckers. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
just don't like them.
yeah. There's just key things to learn about who you are, and I think the biggest thing with comedy, and the biggest thing with resilience, the biggest thing with like any hobby you're doing, and who you are, is the minute you stop trying to learn, whether or not it's trying to learn more about yourself, whether or not it's trying to learn more about your community, whether or not it's trying to learn, just a random fact in the day, um, you're really shutting down. And the minute you start shutting down, you're going to lose the ability to hold space for anybody, including yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, in this times that we live in, I don't want to make it sound like it's probably the best time to ever be human, even though it's hard because, we don't like die like from a cold and like, there's like an ample amount of food. There's a lot of stuff going on that's working out. There's like 8 billion almost people in the world. There was like 3.5 when I was born billion. So, we're doing pretty good on the human side. Maybe not a bad time to be human. However, there's challenging things that present to us that no other time. And it is this constant competition thing going on with us of, and I agree with trying to be your best self, right? But sometimes striving too hard to be your best in all these different areas can make you worse, as you just described.
Yeah. Yeah. 1,000%. And you see that with every time that there's, a famous athlete or even a famous entertainer who steps back and takes time for themselves, and they'll come back and they'll say, I wasn't happy with who I was or where I was, or I was in a dark place, or I wasn't able to focus. Because when you hyper fixate on that one thing, and you want it to be perfect, and you need it to be a thing, and you need it to be whatever, you don't take the opportunities to see how happy and wonderful, or even just the joy of, I have a roof over my head, and I have groceries, and I have people who I can call. You can't pay attention to how important those things are. Those are not the little things. When people are like, the little things make life better, those are not little things. People are not little things. The connections you have are a huge deal. They keep you upright. And even if your connections are small, even if your community is a tight group of like 3 other friends, those people are part of how you stand up in the day, right? Like in our community, with the comedy community, like Dwayne, Shevitz, Imka, Isaac,
Isaac, I love
right?
you, man.
Like Isaac, yeah, he is an amazing human who cares so deeply. And sometimes I think that he makes sure that people like don't always see that right away. Right? They see like he's great at that service industry, like, hey, how are you? How can I make life better? But he cares so deeply about his communities, that he is such a shining light, I think, for
Yes, he is.
people. And
Lighthouse.
lighthouse. And even with ASAP, like one of my closest friends in the world came out of ASAP, Stephanie Klein, another Marine.
Mhm.
Um, and she's amazing. And whenever she pays me a compliment about who I am as a person, I'm always like, I don't think you're looking at yourself correctly, because she is an outstanding human being, and so talented and wickedly smart, and a playwright and a comic, and she will show up when she says she's going to show up. She's going to show up, and she's going to get done what she needs to get done. And she has taught me a lot of things about showing up for people, and being present, and also making sure that if you say, hi, we're going to do a thing and I'm going to show up for you, and this thing ends at 3 you leave. Like, you don't, this was the time that you promised to give people, this is the time that they got. Make sure to manage your time correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, I just, I think it's important that the community, I didn't understand it when I was younger, when people would say, who you have around you, who you surround yourself with, is a reflection of who you are, and is important to who you become. And I did not appreciate how true that was until I got older.
Yes.
And in this community, that is 100% true, and you can feel it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You can't fake that.
No,
You can't, like you said earlier, it's a compliment, but like customer service type, hey,
Right.
how are you? Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, like you feel it.
Yeah. And we're very giving with each other.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it's so important to have the people, and those connections stand you up. However you find a way to do it, healthy relationships
Yes.
get you through.
Yes. No, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I had kind of like an epiphany right now, and you hear a lot about happiness and joy. Like, happiness is a feeling, joy is something you have all the time. Something that dawned on me while we were talking was like, liking people is like as, subjective or non-dependable as being happy all the time.
Right.
But love is like joy.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's like and love, and then there's happy and joy. We might not always like each other, but we'll love each other. We might not always be happy, but don't let nobody steal your joy. Don't let nobody steal your fucking joy, right? And please, we talked about our experience because that's what we know. But these things we're talking about is not just things you can find through just comedy. But I do want to go back to the ASAP thing, because you highlighted it and you made it such a significant part of your life and your background and who you are. But we were just having some brunch, had some fried bologna upstairs. You know what I'm saying? We can't forget where we come from. That's what we do. We have fried bologna. We have some hoo hash. Some people call it corned beef hash. We have some eggs. It was good. You talked about how ASAP started, and I want people to hear, if you don't mind sharing, how the boss man Sam has said, "What if we do this? Maybe they won't do that."
So Sam Pressler was at William and Mary. It was
Tribe.
Yeah. And it was his senior year. If Sam's out there, and this is wrong, he can correct me later, but he had heard how many veterans kill themselves a day. Like, we all hear the 22 a day. And his uncle had killed himself when Sam was in high school. Comedy helped Sam deal with his grief. And he thought, well, maybe if there was a way that we got veterans in the military involved in comedy, maybe they wouldn't kill themselves. I'm paraphrasing Sam. And that's how ASAP started. And it wasn't like, well, we'll bring comedy to them. We'll help them with the creation of comedy. And so the first comedy boot camp was, and it wasn't even called ASAP, was like a beta program to figure out down in Norfolk, to figure out how this would work. And it was so successful that they created ASAP, and it kept doing it. And then he moved the association up here into the DC area, and was going back and forth. And it was mainly just stand up, and then it became storytelling and improv. And then it grew and grew. And now we have not just Norfolk and DC, but we have Indianapolis, we have San Diego. We do it online for everybody to participate in. I've had students who are stationed in the sand, and I've had students who are stationed in Japan in classes, because we are accessing communities that we could not access before. And it's grown into such a thing. Sam created such an incredible association. And then when Brian took over as the executive director, he has just taken us to an even further growth. It's really outstanding. And it's such a great community. And not only is it a great VSO, but it's a VSO that other veteran service organizations talk about.
What's
Because
VSO?
Yeah.
We like acronyms. What's VSO mean?
Somebody on the what the fuck is VSO?
veteran service organizations, we are outstanding, I think, in the way that we interact with the veteran community, and the way that we maintain that community. Because I think it's like anything else. If you take a class with ASAP and you're like, great, that was a bucket list item, I've always wanted to figure out if I could be funny on stage, awesome. A lot of those people don't go on to do comedy on the economy. A lot of them don't continue. There are a few of us who do, and but they might take another class with ASAP.
That's right.
Or they'll find another, or they'll take playwriting, or they'll take something else, or they'll just keep showing up for grad shows to congratulate people. But it creates this huge
Yes.
of a space for veterans. And I will say this: the one thing I've never heard in a class, because when we start a class, we'll say, great, okay, thank you so much for being here. We're going to ask you your name, your military affiliation, and how you found out about this class. Please keep it to like less than a minute.
Yeah.
Right? No one has ever said, hi, my name is Monica. I was an admiral in the Navy. I have all of these great awards. Blah, blah, blah. Almost everybody, to a person, will say, hi, my name is Monica. I served in the Army, and they will move on. They will either say, I retired, or I did 36 years, or I did whatever.
Yeah.
But nobody ever walks in with their rank first.
Yeah.
Everybody walks in as a member of the community, as a veteran, or as a military spouse, or as a military family member, but they never walk in saying, do you know who my dad was? Do you know what I mean? And I think that makes it a really fun space as a veteran service organization, that everybody walks in understanding that at a communal level, we all start as veterans.
That's right.
And I really appreciate that, because we've had people who've done cool things in class, and we've had people who've had cool things on their shoulders in class, and they do not bring it up or blow it out.
Yeah.
And it gives everybody a starting place where nobody has to worry about paying attention to who you were.
Yes, because that can create barriers.
Yeah,
for sharing.
absolutely.
Is this person going to turn me in? They're connected to. They
Right.
know my current CO because
Right.
of it, all that kind of craziness.
Yeah.
But no, what I love too is the safe space of it. I mean, obviously they set the tone. I had Melissa and Kristen, and they definitely set the tone. But I also was with Sarah, and I was with David Katash, and I think the tone setting, and we adhere to that. Like, not like there will be no mischievous, but like you set a tone of mutual respect, inclusion, courtesy, consideration, and then we go from there. And very rarely have I ever seen it go off the rails. But that tone setting allows us all to kind of be. It really feels like a safe space. Like, even if somebody has some offshoot joke or something, it still feels like a safe space. Like, nobody's here to cancel me. Nobody's here to judge me. They'll guide you to what could be like, oh, I see where you're going there, but that's not going to land right. And that's probably going to offend somebody in the wrong way, right? We want to have First Amendment. We want to have freedom of speech. But at the same time, we don't want to be vulgar and just for vulgar sake and to be mean and anything to incite hate or anything like that. But they guide you, and it just feels so nice to be in a safe space, because for some of us, and we know, like in the HR world of today, and then also with the military and the standards and stuff like that, it feels nice to just kind of just be you. Yes, I'm a veteran. Yes, I've served, or I am serving, or whatever, but I'm also still just Cam. And I want to show y'all and share with y'all like my perspective on this or that. But it's not just in comedy. I think comedy is the rawest. I'm biased. That's my favorite of all of them. But there's classes on, she said, playwrights, on acting, on improv, on now they have entrepreneurship. They have a class on how to write a book. They have a class on how to start a podcast. I should probably take it. I probably need to learn some more, right? But just so many different outlets. Some of them do music. They get together and do music sometimes together, open mics.
They do a choir.
Dude, like, so it's not just limited to one or two art forms. And honestly, it's First Amendment. So you'll get people that have strong faiths. Like, I know a very successful Christian comic in PT, and he doesn't get up there and be like, and then Jesus said, ha, 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 ha. But he, you know what I mean? No, but all his jokes, he makes sure that digestible to a Christian audience if he was to be in. But people learn how to be better public speakers, and who in any skill set doesn't need to communicate better. So it's just win across the board, y'all. I mean, we're not getting no money off of this. I plug it all the time because it's just such a healthy way to. We have so much mental health issues, as Sam has noticed, and like, don't suppress it, express it, and then you find community. Dude, if you can have expression and let shit out, and then have community, like. You probably, I'm still gonna need some meds and some therapy too, but it's therapy in itself.
Listen, meds and therapy, they
have their place.
They have their place. They have a strong place. I think that they're really important. But I also, one of the things I realized when I started doing comedy, and also in some level when I started doing like just knitting, right, is that aside from community, nobody has a place as adults to really play anymore. Right. So you get to be creative, you get to play. I think that's the reason why CrossFit is so popular, because it gives you a place to like have recess. And CrossFitters, don't come for me, but like it gives you,
or pickleballers.
Yeah. Or pickleballers.
Yeah.
Right. It gives you a place as an adult to go play with other adults.
True.
In a way that has boundaries and has joy. And comedy will do that. It gives you a place to play.
Yeah.
Right. It gives a place for adults to, like, when we talk about act outs, like when, if you were talking about drinking and someone's like, go, 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 you know, or making weird sounds when you want to ask somebody a question. Right. It gives you all this place to play that you don't get to do as an adult, that I think is really, like, we should have recess at work.
There really should.
It should be.
And nobody can cancel anybody, but also don't offend, like, don't assault anyone. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, yes.
Because even playground has that rule. Don't hit nobody. Keep your hands to yourself.
Don't hit nobody. I wing the ball at them on purpose in their brain.
You sit on Tommy. Right. You sit your ass down.
But yeah, there's a freedom in being able to like move your body and express yourself and sort of tag out like we do at riff mics, where so a riff mic, you don't know when you're going up and you don't know what your topic's going to be. We put topics in the hat, and then when you get up, they pull the topic, and you need to make it funny. You need to make it funny, not therapy. You need to make it funny, not therapy.
Not therapy, Cam. Not
right.
therapy.
So like if the topic was Christmas ornaments and someone's like, I remember that the 5th grade, I made a Christmas ornament for my parents, and my sister broke it, and I've never been able to recover. You're like, no, funny.
My drunk uncle stabbed somebody with it.
That's Cam's take on Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
But yeah, but we get to play, and I think that there's not a lot of opportunities to play. I think it's the reason why Fortnite is such a thing. Like, I think there's a place for video games in the world.
Most
because
definitely.
It also gives people a sense of community and a sense of playing with each other.
Problem solving skills, imagination. It's so good.
You do need some boundaries.
Well, and then it also can't be the only thing you do.
Can't be the only thing you do.
Yeah, because I know with Marines, and I talk about this often, they do one of 3 things when we say work hard, play hard. Majority, and you know it's true because you're gonna giggle. They get effed up. Mm-hmm. They watch Pornhub. Mm-hmm. They play video game, and some of them do it all at the same exact time. I didn't say they weren't coordinated. I'm just saying that like they need to expand on things to do. You know what I'm saying? Because alcohol use leads to 50%.
But look, they're not driving.
Yeah, but I will say this I did a poem on this that nobody listened to recently. Substances, right? Like people say, Marine Corps was born in the tavern, right?
Right.
Tavern pub was also used for other reasons, not just getting effed up. But we were born in a bar, so all we do is drink. Great friend of mine, Doc Sandy. We were born in a hospital too, but we don't fucking spend time there every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have other things to do. So video games are good. Porn is not the worst thing in the world. But if all you do is look at porn, it's going to distort your experience with reality. Same thing with the video game, and same thing with drinking, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I was trying to express there, is that you have to find other things to do. And motherfuckers that like bowling or comedy or fishing or fucking knitting, you don't know you fucking liked it till you fucking did it. So take a chance. Open your mind.
And do it wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love your hat. Failure is a bruise, not a tattoo. Yeah. Like, do the thing and fail at it. Do it and fall down at it.
Yeah.
And then try it again.
Yeah. And then amend along the way. You know, like this fucking beautiful thing we're all willing to die for. Constitution got 27. Oops, let's make it better. Amendments.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Yes, people think that they all showed up at once. Yeah, and we're like, no, we failed. We need to edit.
Oh, hold on. Let's do it. Oops. Let's make it better.
We'll just add this one.
Amendment.
Now there's 27 of them. Maybe there's a need for more. That's to each everybody's own interpretation. But the point is, don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
1,000%.
Because damn, we do that shit. We're such perfectionists. And really, you know what it really is? It's probably a lack of confidence rooted in it because you don't want to fail. You don't want to come off as if you didn't do a good job.
Well, also, but everything you see, everything that we get shown is the perfect end of something.
Yes.
Right? If like the perfect view that somebody took, the perfect snapshot that they took, I will tell you 1,000 times if somebody takes a picture of me on stand up, I'm not like this.
Yeah, mouth open.
Every picture is like I look like Sam Kinnison's demented niece, right? Like nobody gets a picture of me just like pausing, like.
Oh yeah.
They're awful. And then God love them. I love the friends of ours who will send me all those pictures, and I'm like, you could have deleted
3 of these, at
like
least
19 of them. Like, I don't know why you even sent it to me. Like, I don't know if you wanted this one.
Yeah, it's so true.
I don't want that one. Why would you even? You're married. You know women. Why are you? Right? But they're like, no, but you were doing good, and you look like
in the moment.
You're in the moment. And so, like, I only see myself the way I want to see myself, and sometimes I have to. In those moments, I have to be like, oh, they saw the joy in me, and I saw the imperfect in me
off the bat.
Yeah. Right. Because I've only watched the perfect versions of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think sometimes people forget to try and fail because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh, I tried making bread once and it didn't turn out, so I never made it again.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, yeah, it's not rocket surgery. Just try again.
Oh, or I went to medical and I started talking to a doctor, a therapist, or a counselor through a non-medical treatment, right? And that dude or that lady was weird and didn't get me. Fuck therapy.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no. Sometimes you get a bad barber. Sometimes you go on a bad date. What do you do?
Sometimes you go on a bad date. Yeah. You can't marry the first person. I mean, you might have, but you can't marry the first person you met who like same. And I agree with you with therapists. I tell my friends all the time, I'm going to tell you guys, if you don't use your EAP, your employee assistance program that is available through work, those are people just sitting there at a desk, just waiting for people to call on them. But EAP does a lot of things, but one of the things they do for therapy is they will help you find a therapist. And if you use EAP to book it, they usually pay for like 3 to 6 of the first initial therapy appointments out of EAP's pocket. So you can go try a therapist, and if they don't work, you haven't lost any money.
Yeah.
You've lost an hour of your time.
Yeah. Or maybe you learned what you don't want.
Right.
But it's not to say throw the baby out the bathwater.
Right.
Because we're so absolutist, so red, blue, so black, white. So like there's so much gray and there's opportunities for amendments and a different approach.
It's like trying to find a gym, right?
Yeah.
Like not every gym is for every person.
Hell no.
And if you walk in, you're like, no, they were all awful, or they were all super fit, or they were all like just lifting heavy weights and making grunting sounds, and we'll go find another gym.
Not protein farts.
Yeah. Carson.
Oh, Carson, we love you.
We love you.
You Zangief looking motherfucker. Remember Street Fighter 2? He's Zangief.
Yeah. No, and Carson's another one. Like the other thing about comedy is you cannot judge a book by its cover when you deal with comics. You cannot judge, because I will walk on stage and I know part of what helps is when I walk on stage, people are like, it's going to be Weight Watchers points in her cat. She's going to be adorable. Look at this old lady getting up on stage. She's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
And then I talk about scrotums and they're like, wait, what? What happened here?
Misdirection there.
Yeah. But Carson is he's this young man that we know. He is also just an amazing human being. He's
man.
Super sweet.
Yeah.
And he's honestly just a doll, and he puts himself out there, but he has paid attention to how his muscle groups work.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. He is fit. He is fit, and he is focused on his protein. And we give him a hard time. We give him a hard time because we love you.
We love you.
But then he talks, and you're like, not only is he trying comedy, but he works really hard, and and you've watched his comedy get better and better and better, and you've watched him really put in the work
Yes.
for what he needs to get done. Or Felipe,
Yes.
who is this other on the other end of the spectrum, is also a physically fit specimen of a young man.
Yeah.
And normally in a mesh crop top
In February in Northern Virginia,
making all the other men feel uncomfortable with their bodies.
Yeah.
And you get up and you have an expectation of who Felipe is, and they work so hard. You cannot go and see a comic and be like, I know who they're going to be before they open their mouths. Because good comedy is just funny, and it's universally funny, and it's
funny.
Still your own experience, your own crafted experience. But it's such a share. It's such a give, to expend your brain and your heart to share your world in a universal way. And it goes across every dynamic, every category that you can think of for people. And it is, I think that's one of the reasons why I love this community is you cannot judge the books by the cover.
Hell no.
At all. And good people are good people.
Period.
People. Yeah,
Yes.
period. And they show up, and they can be funny, and they can be caring. And the people who aren't good people kind of self-select out of the community.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or you just like, they know this isn't for them. And it's,
Right.
I know it comes off narcissistic to get on a stage and like share your pain and all these kind of things, but it's almost like taking and like pain shared is pain divided, what General Neller had said before, but also expressing it and sharing it in like a healing way to others. And you also make others feel not so alone. So when you're expressing, whether it's a frustration or a perspective on a scrotum, somebody was like, and they're in a totally different background, totally different, whatever demographic thing you want to fill in, but they're different. But yet you, in that moment, you are so much the same, and you know you're not alone. And it's funny. And I don't care. Even I think Satan likes to laugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like everything on this planet likes to giggle.
Yes.
Right?
And I will tell you, most men have never heard anybody talk about their taut satchel before. And so
the taut satchel.
Which is not all of my comedy, but come out and see me at Laugh Daily Comedy on Instagram.
Yes.
But it's those sorts of things where people have an expectation of what I'm going to say, and then are surprised on the breadth of comedy that comedians' viewpoints come from.
Yes.
And while we give people a hard time, like Carson, we do it because we love him, and because he's not only part of our community, but we've watched him grow inside of our community. And this is one of those things, like, I think if you golf, right? If you golf with the same people, you watch their game get better, and you watch how they've excelled at something. And I think we get to watch our friends get better every week.
Yep.
And that's a real gift.
It really is.
To get to watch. And then we get to watch audiences respond. And you're like, that was a new tag. That was so good. Did you see how the audience responded to that?
Yes.
So you get to cheer on people's victories. And a lot of that stuff stops after high school.
You're right.
You get to cheer on strangers. You get to cheer on the birds. You know what I mean? You get to cheer on your teams. But
the birds,
but you don't get to cheer on each other as much. And I think in the military, you get to cheer on each other because you can see the growth of a military member by their rank, by the awards they've been given, by what they're doing, by where they are going. And then outside of that community, it's not always so cut and dry. But like within comedy or even within crafting, you get to see people be better at the thing they're striving for.
Yeah.
And what a great gift that is to see that in a friend.
And humans want that. You want to see growth in yourself and others. And I think, there's a time for downtime. There's a time for recovery. But there's also a thing called stagnation.
Right.
And things of these nature, the activities, the principles on what we're speaking on engaging with other things and other people and other activities is that there is growth there. And I do think that we are, in a sense, like plants that once, and I got this from Jason Vale, shout out Jason Vale, Kick the Drink Kick the Drink Easily book, but he said in there that we're like plants, and once we stop growing, we start dying. And you have to continue growth. That doesn't mean grind culture, burn yourself out, or anything like that, but to get uncomfortable and tap into other things. And you talk about like what Brene Brown says about vulnerability being courage. Like there's nothing more vulnerable than the arts. And you can sniff out real quick when somebody's disingenuous and just get up there and be like, look at me, I'm amazing. Come on now. You can go be an actor for that. I'm just kidding. But I'm dead serious though.
Actors, we both would love to be in a movie. Feel free to shout
extra,
out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just be there. You know what I mean? Like, but in all seriousness, like, it's not that with art. Like, you're literally giving yourself to others and expressing yourself. And whether it's poetry or comedy or like, there's something beautiful about that. And we're made to create. Human beings are made to create. And sometimes we lose our playtime. We lose our play friends. And then it's just work. And you're creating for someone else, and that may not be fulfilling. So you got to find it in other ways. And sometimes if you're blessed to have a job that's so fulfilling and gives you meaning, purpose, all these things, great. But also be afraid, be wary, because once that's gone, there could be a lot of other sadness there that somebody else that was just working at a job that didn't fulfill them already figured out a long time ago. I need to go coach youth sports, or I need to be part of my church, or I need to be in comedy, or whatever the thing is. So it's something to be aware of. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time for those of us in first responders, service members, teachers, things that where your occupation is both fulfilling, gives you meaning, connection, authenticity. You're just kind of by default given these things because you find them in your craft. But the rest of the world is like, I work at fill in the blank and I go fishing on Wednesday with my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't, because our work is that. So does that make sense? That was a weird rant, but you got to be aware of these things because it could be a blessing and a curse. And then I just think that we stagnate. And then there's hello sadness, my old friend.
Well, and we also other, right? In the military, we other a lot. We are awesome. And even when we say things like Army versus Marines, right? But if you put yourself only in the mine is great, this is mine, and you never experience the other, and you never try and reach out and touch base and figure out that we're all the same. Like when you get in your examples, when you leave the military, if you have been just covered and stamped and tattooed and repetitive, like us, and then you're not part of us anymore, that is a sea change that I don't think people are prepared for. And so the idea of like, you should be proud proud of who you are, but not to the point where it is the only thing you are. Because it's not. You know, and it will continue on without you. And that can be hard when you don't know where your place is.
That's true.
So yeah, it's important to have that balance of a sense of self and a sense of pride, but also a sense of humility. And that sense of humility is a hard thing to come to grips with, but it'll give you this. That's where I think you find that space. To be more than just one thing.
Yeah, I agree so much. And I think we never stop learning. We never stop growing. If anybody's acting like that, like the traditional Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, pray for that person, help them find something to repurpose. Like, because I've said it recently with the retirement from active duty, like, it's not retiring, I'm repurposing.
Right.
It's like retire is what they did with old horses and like a punishment in like biblical times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you retire stuff. Like, I'm not retiring. I'm not just stopping and going on the shelf. Like, you repurpose into something else. But for a lot of us, the hard part is finding that something else. And I just think you serve in a different way. And whatever you doing stand-up comedy, you walking dogs for old people or people that can't walk all their dogs, that is still service, right? So you just got to find it a different way. And I think that's something else that a lot of us that are in service, whatever the fill in the blank is, once that's over, there's an addiction for service.
Yes.
And if you don't feel that you are accountable or meaningful, yes, oh my God, that is like, why am I even here? And that's scary. It's like the empty nesters thing. Like, if you didn't do what your father had suggested, well, they're gone. My job as a human was to reproduce. It's a real thing.
So you have to figure out that you're more than the sum of your parts, but you have to figure out where that is.
Yeah.
And it's a struggle as a human, right? Like, it would be so nice. It'd be so nice to to just go, well, this is who you are. Great. I'm just going to be that forever. And I don't have to stretch my brain or do anything or think about it. Or, I mean, it's the reason why people join cults, right? Like,
and that's what's scary.
It's because it could be so easy just to be like, no, I'm good. So-and-so said the following. So therefore,
drink Kool-Aid on Wednesday, y'all. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, if you don't go, you don't come with us, you're going to hell. You come drink Kool-Aid with us.
Poor Kool-Aid. It wasn't even Kool-Aid brand. It was
just so wrong.
Yeah. So wrong.
So wrong.
But there was no sugar in that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I should have told you something then.
I should have told you something right
there. Like, what is sugar at? I can't drink Kool-Aid with like a ton of sugar. I used to put 2 cups, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'm diabetic. Yeah, that was bad in one little pitcher. But it tasted good. It has the red lips and stuff. I'd run up to you, being that little kid in the trailer park, like, you ever tried red Kool-Aid? They came out with orange. So this is nothing new. This is just me.
We got to deal with who we are, make the best of ourselves.
No, 1,000%. Yeah, I don't know where I was going, but
I do that to people. Sorry.
That's all right.
The high definition of ADHD. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, but the point of being a human is, I think, trying something new, even if the something new is just like finding a new book or finding a new whatever, and then sharing it.
Yes.
I show my love to a lot of people by sending them memes every day. The most off the chain, unhinged memes, but it lets them know that, like, I'm thinking of them and I love them. And then I am old enough that I call people directly and talk to their voicemail because they are young enough that they never answer their phones.
Yeah, I like to do voice memos now. So like, what is this? Press play, motherfucker. He's talking to me, and I can't even stop him. You got to accuse me of interrupting you now, motherfucker.
But yeah, sometimes, and you need to, have the opportunity to slow down and check in with people, even if the only person you're checking in with is yourself. Right?
I agree. And I got
Elmo's just checking in.
Yeah, Elmo's just checking in. Shout out to my daughter, got me this shirt for Christmas. Yeah. She's over there in the Badlands of Japan, serving, defending the Constitution. I just want to tell you thank you so much. I mean, time is the most valuable currency besides the effects on others, but it's the one currency that we spend every day we don't know the remaining balance of. So for you to come all this way, to come down here, we see each other at least weekly at some spot or something, but that's usually in mutual thing. But you came all the way to me because I'm broke right now, not just monetarily, but also physically, and to spend time to share your light with us and everyone. I mean, it's just, I got so many notes right here of just things I've heard before, maybe things I haven't heard before, but things that when you said it hit me. So I just want to tell you thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I'm here because I value you. Like, I'm not here because it's a podcast. I'm here because I value who you are and who you are to our community, and the voices that you have given a space to it's so important. And I appreciate how much you stretch yourself and stretch your brain and stretch your spirit to provide for the groups that you want to give to. Like, you do an amazing thing for people, and I know in your heart that's true, and I know sometimes it might be hard to remember it, but I've watched you be a good spouse. I've watched you like online and in person be a good father, questionably bringing a teenage son to open mic, but
you got to learn.
But also within the comedy community, giving a space for the voices of people who are important and have things to share. You are a lovely human, and I am so proud that you asked me to be on this. Of course, I would drive whatever the length of distance it is, because I value the idea that you even would like to hang out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You cool as fuck.
Yeah. I love you so much, man.
I love you, my sister.
I love you. I love you so much.
Thank you. Man, I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance, get a hug from Miss Monica. Best hugs ever. I'm telling you. Kind, genuine. And everything she says, I know she means, because that's who she is. And
I love hug more than I love bed. And I love bed a lot.
I love hug.
I love hug. I do. I love hug. I love hug. It's such a great physical connection with people.
It is.
when they don't make it creepy.
Yeah, that's a little weird, guys. Some of y'all are gonna hold on too close. The whispers in the ears. Come on, slow down.
Please don't purr in my ear.
That's weird.
If we are not together, even if we are together, like that, we're fine. It's a hug.
Remember, this is a hug, not therapy, okay?
Yeah, no. I do this with children. Like, please don't.
Don't ruin this for me.
Don't ruin hug. But yeah, no, please come out to a show. Please come support local comedy wherever you are. Find the local comedy. Please understand the local comedy's trying. If you come to an open mic and you're like, they weren't funny tonight. Yeah, it's an open mic, man. We're figuring it out.
It's a gym, dude. Trying stuff out.
Yeah, trying stuff out. But make a show. Support what's going on. And it's really important now to support comics on social media. You can the socials be attached on to these links, but support people and come on out. We need it. We are, no matter how strong we've talked about resilience, we're doing comedy because we're broken. So we would love your support in showing up. The audience is key to our joy. But yeah, it is a great space to find common things where everybody can laugh, rather than finding places where everybody can be angry.
Yeah, more discontent. We're good on that right now. We're good.
Yeah. So find a place where you can also laugh at other people's pain in a group in the dark. It is super healing.
If nothing else, you just be like, I'm happy that shit didn't happen to me. Exactly. Don't compare it to Steve and Joy. Yeah. Not so much right now. But no, seriously. In closing, I always ask this one question, and it's near and dear to my heart because, I mean, I've shared the stat recently, but we lose every year more active duty and veterans to death by suicide than we lost in both campaigns of span 20 years of OAF and OEF. More of the whole grand scheme, right, of those who died in however it means, close combat, accidents, whatever, that time frame connected to OIF, OEF, the number we lose every year, calendar year, is more than all of those years, right? So I'm tired of losing people. And that's why I do these things, and I sometimes am too much or I'm extra. If it could help one person, man, then it's worth it. The ego probably wants the Million Man March. Can't deny that. I want to impact as many people as possible. But if we can reach one, then it's all worth it. So with that said, somebody right now is out there, just by the common statistics and just the math of this whole thing, is contemplating taking their own life. And if they happen to be listening right now, or if you could see them or talk to them, what's something that you would tell them ahead of time before they make that decision?
Don't underestimate whether or not your friends want to hear from you. The number of people who have said, well, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to interrupt them. They're not gonna reach back. Call your people. Call your people. If you can't call your people, call 988.
There you go.
There is someone waiting to talk to you. What I will tell you is, I would miss you. I would miss you. If you can make it to tomorrow, let's see if we can make it to the next tomorrow. Life is hard and it is dark, and but death is permanent. And so do it cranky, do it tired, do it sad. But if you can just get from point A to point B, I'm not asking you to do it in the best version of you. I'm not asking you to do it in the version that you think that people want it to be. I'm just asking you to get from point A to point B. And if you're struggling in the middle of that, reach out to someone. Because there's a reason why humans are pack animals. We need people. We need our people. And you don't always have to be the best. Sometimes all I'm asking you to be is to be.
Man, that was so well said. I appreciate you so much. I'm not even going to say anything to that. That's just beautifully said. Sometimes just be. Stay here. We love you. We care about you. In closing, do you have any events, anything you want to plug? I'll put all the socials. I'll put all the organizations we spoke on, the links. It'll all be in the show notes and the postings of this on social media, as concise as my long-winded ass can make it. But there'll be some hyperlinks you can copy and paste. Sincerely, though, I want to turn it over to you. Do you have any save rounds or anything else you want to expand on?
I do want to just reiterate, please check out the Armed Services Arts Partnership. I will
Yes.
say out of the gate, though, at the late gate, I am on the board, the alumni board for ASAP. So you'll see that on my page. We're just trying to make sure that the alumni have a different say and have, as we grow, that we have a larger sort of voice and look at the impact of ASAP, which is fabulous. And I'm a huge fan of it. So I'm not only the president, but I'm also the owner. I'm the next couple of things I'm doing a leadership development, a graduation for women veterans.
Right on.
I will be at the Wounded Warrior Project Gala at the Marine Corps Museum this coming Saturday. I'll be bringing one of my knitters with me.
Yeah.
And then I have a bunch of shows coming up. They'll be set up in my socials. I'm really excited, but yeah, keep it going for live comedy, man. It's the best.
Do. Please. Just thank you for your time, for your service. Seriously, for being a light. And I know what Viktor Frankl said, what is to give light must endure burning. And I know we all got our form of burning, but you keep on shining and you just do it. And I appreciate you through all of it. And you are a light in my life and so many others. And to anybody out there, don't just assume all this was happy talk and we're perfect at applying any of this today. We're not doctors. We're just human beings trying to fit fo. Look up what fit fo means. That's a new acronym to add to your repertoire, right? Fit fo. Figuring at the foxtrot out every single day. Please continue to be. And it's just, hey, and here's another thing too. It's free to be kind. It's free, right? And to highlight a famous comedian, a hero of mine, and I know of hers, gotta be, is Robin Williams. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. We love you. We thank you. Thank you for listening. And I gotta let you. I even got a mixtape. Look at that. Look like I got my mixtape right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, some of y'all don't even know what a damn mixtape is. Anyway. Oh shit. Oh. This has been another show. All right. Anyway, episode 69 of the Real Resilience Talk with the one, the only, the hilarious, kind-hearted, just love giver, light shiner, and Miss Monica Daly. You can follow her. I'll put the links in here on how to follow Miss Monica and reach out. asap.org, and there'll be a whole other list of things. So don't say you don't know, and don't be afraid to try something, because you don't know what you don't know till you try something. So just try something. But remember, on this show, we are inspired by the words of Dr. Maya Angelou that says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, shut the fuck. No, she said change. She said change your attitude. So we're inspired by the First Amendment, and I guess if we're sponsored by anybody, anything, it's our Constitution to use our rights to freely express ourselves. But we are sponsored by nobody, baby. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. You about to get a close-up of me pressing end.